What happened?
The book of Bereshit. Book of Bereshit, chapter 37. This is the book of Bereshit, chapter 37, at verse, we'll start at verse 1. Brother Brandon, you give me, Andre, you give me Bereshit, chapter 1. Give me at verse 6. Brother Brandon, you give me Bereshit, chapter 37, at verse 12, at verse 1. Listen to the Bible.
And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And Elohim called the firmament Shamayim.
He called the firmament Shamayim.
And the evening and the morning were the second day.
Yes.
And Elohim said, let the waters under the Shamayim be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so.
Yep.
And Elohim called the dry land Aritz, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas.
Yep.
And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the Aritz bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself.
Whose seed is in itself.
Upon the Aritz. And it was so.
Yep.
And the Aritz brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind.
Yes.
And Elohim saw that it was good.
Yes.
And the evening and the morning was the third day.
It was the third day.
And Elohim said,
what did he say?
Let there be lights in the firmament of the Shamayim.
Let there be lights.
To divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs.
Let them be for signs.
And for seasons.
And for seasons.
And for days.
And for days.
And years.
And years.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the Shamayim to give light upon the Aritz. And it was so.
And it was so.
And Elohim made two great lights.
So he made two great lights. The two great lights he made, which was what, Brother Andre?
The greater light to rule the day. And the lesser light to rule the night.
Yes.
He made the stars also.
Yep. So as we consider our greater lights, which is the daytime, which is the sun, the lesser light, which is the moon, of course, is in the Shamayim, is in as we call the heavens. Go ahead, Andre.
And Elohim set them in the firmament of the Shamayim to give light upon the Aritz.
Yes.
And to rule over the day and over the night.
So now we know we got some constellations, we got some different events that will show us what can divide the day and from the night. So how can we take this and use over in Ephesians, he said the families that's in the Aritz. This is Bereshit chapter 37 at verse 1. Listen to the Bible.
And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan.
Yes.
These are the generations of Jacob.
Yes.
Yusuf, being 17 years old.
Yusuf, which is spelled, is not, in English they call it Joseph, but Yusuf is U-Y-U-S-A-P-H. What is this? I'm sorry.
Take just a little bit of it off. Just a little bit. Come on, keep going. I got you.
Oh, on cue. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No.
Appreciate you, brother. Yusuf, being 17 years old,
feeding the flock with his brethren. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah.
Yep.
And with the sons of Zilpah,
his
father's wives.
Yes.
And Yusuf brought unto his father their evil report.
Yes.
Now Yasharal loved Yusuf more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors.
Now he made him a coat of many colors.
And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him.
Yep.
And could not speak peaceably unto him. And Yusuf dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren.
That's the same example we had with Yehusha. Every time Yehusha would speak, a lot of his brethren was getting hotter and hotter. That's why they said we need to find out a way that we should kill him. But go ahead, Brandon.
And he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more.
So this is a dream that Yusuf had. Go ahead, Brandon.
And he said unto them,
what did he say?
Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed.
Yep.
For behold, We were binding sheaves in the field.
Yes.
And lo, my sheaf arose.
Yep.
And also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about.
Yes.
And made obeisance to my sheep. And his brethren said unto him,
what does brethren say?
Shalt thou indeed reign over us?
So you think you're going to be reigning over us? Go ahead, Brandon.
Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams.
Yep.
And for his words.
Yep.
And he dreamed yet another dream.
What happened?
And told it his brethren and said,
yes.
Behold, I have dreamed a dream more.
So now I have another dream. Go ahead, Brandon.
And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars,
which is our greater, our lights, the sun and the moon, which considered the sun was the father, and his mother was the moon. And go ahead, Brandon.
Made obeisance to me. And he told it his father,
yes,
and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him,
what did he say?
What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the Aritz?
So all the families, the family who considered the children of Yasharal, all tribes was going to bow down unto this man. And it did happen. At the book of Bereshit, chapter, give me at verse 40. Bereshit chapter 40. 42. Bereshit 42 at verse 1. Listen to the Bible.
Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another?
Yes.
And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Yusuf's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Yusuf's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren. For he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Yasharal came to buy corn among those that came. For the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Yusuf was the governor over the land.
He was the ruler over the whole land.
And he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Yusuf's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the Aritz. And Yusuf saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them.
So this is an example where his brother had to come. They had to make obedience unto him at that point in time. Well, they say, well, later on, well, Benjamin wasn't there. Later on in the scripture, it showed that he came. So how can we say, well, how are we going to bow down to Yahusha? What's the consolation of that to Yahusha? Give me the book of Matthew, chapter 2. Over when we started in Ephesians, first, Shaul, he said, I bow my knee. The same thing that happened over in the book of Philippians. Every knee going to have to bow. Every tongue going to have to confess that he is the Yahuwah, that he is the Most High. The same thing that the tribe, all the family that was in the Shamayim had to do to Yusuf. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2, at verse 1. Listen to the Bible.
Now when Yahusha was born in Bethlehem of Yehuda in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born, Malach of the Yahudim? For we have seen his star in the east.
Now we seen his star. His star. That's the person that's going to be, that we're going to have to give audience to, which is Yahusha. That's his star. The hypocrites, they get the eastern star, and they say, well, that's the eastern star. No, his star. We talking about Yahusha. That is the sign. Go ahead, Brother Deval.
And are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where the Mashiach should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Yehuda, for thus it is written by the prophet. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Yehuda, art not the least among the princes of Yehuda, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people, Yasharal. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east.
And they saw the star that they saw in the east,
went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was.
Yep.
When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him.
Everybody gonna have to worship this man. Even when the wise man came, they had to come in. They had to worship this man. That's why it's gonna be fulfilled over in, give me Philippians, the book of Philippians, chapter 2, at verse 9. The same with a star that was over Yahusha, to say that's him. Yahusha was over the people, and they had to worship him. They had to bow down, and every knee gonna do it. Not only here, but in the book of Kazum, when he come back on the cloud, everybody gonna have to give up. Everybody gonna have to bow down. Everybody have to confess that he was the Savior of the world. But this is Philippians chapter 2 at verse 9. Listen to the Bible.
Wherefore Elohim also had highly exalted him.
Yep.
And given him a name which is above every name.
He's gonna be the greater light, highly exalted. He's gonna be all the constellation. He's gonna be the sun. He's gonna be the moon. He's gonna be the star. He's gonna be exalted. Go ahead, Brother Andre.
That at the name of Yahusha,
yep,
every knee should bow.
Every knee gonna bow.
Of things in Shamayim.
Everything in Shamayim.
And things in the Aritz.
Everything that's on the earth.
And things under the Aritz.
Yep.
And that every tongue should confess that Yahusha HaMashiach is Elohim.
Yep.
To the glory of Elohim, the Father.
Yes.
Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Fear. The only reason you're going to move, you got to have fear. They wanted to search out to where this king was because that he was going to be the salvation. He had to have fear. Appreciate the little time.
All right. What y'all think?